into the home straight and away. She was gone.
First 3-4 strides was rocky, but around the turn was a lot better than I expected.
That's a new national record as well.
New national record. And you can never have too much speed in your 400. So she's showing that she's going to be more of a force in that as well. But Grand Slam track-wise, if you're able to put down sometimes close to 21 seconds in the long sprints, you're going to walk home with some big checks, run home.
But you know, there's a bit of muscle memory for her. What I mean by that, you know, she's had a early part of her career as a 200-meter runner, went to championships. I think made the semi-final of the Worlds back in 2019. And you just got to key back into that. She's a out-and-out 400-meter runner now, which has moved up from this distance.
Yeah, she has. I think, you know, the benefit of being tall is that you're actually taking less strides in your race. So if you got some speed, it's basically unbeatable. So she's gained her strength off of her 200-meter speed that she's had early in her career, and she's made herself into, you know, an Olympic champion. Got to the line, held off Nasser. I'm sure once Nasser came off of the turn and saw that Paulino was ahead of her, she knew that she wasn't going to get her, just based off of their usual race patterns.
Well, yeah, looking at we're fortunate to have the kind of the splits, and even in the last 100, she took a little bit out of Nasser even once they got into the home straight. I mean, that's partly because you're in the lead and you're rolling on, and Nasser realised maybe 40, 50 out, she wasn't going to get there.
It's actually a number 2 time in the world this year.
Yeah, wind was at 1 meter per second. We're not talking about it too much today because it's not mattering. It's all legal performances. The wind not too strong behind them. All good. So 2 wins, maximum points for Paulino. Really back to form. Picked it up from Kingston. Didn't like getting beaten. Has come here and has won both races. 22.3. New personal best, taken 600th off her national record. All good. 22.30, as I said. So Nasser confirmed, those 2 well ahead of everybody else. Whitaker again with another good performance, finishes in 3rd place, picks up the 30k for that 11 points there. Holds 4th. Others will hope to come back and do better next time.
A sweep of the events for Paulino in both the 400 and the 200. National record, PR. That's just an outstanding performance.
Yeah, this looks like a tapered Paulino to me. It looked like she was probably in a heavy part of her training in Jamaica, but she came out here with fresh legs in both the 400 and in the 200. She looked incredible. Didn't have the best start, but you don't expect a 400-meter specialist to necessarily blaze out the blocks, but she didn't give away too much, and then from about 150 meters on, she poured it on, Chris.
Yeah, those last 50 meters were so fun to watch. She was packing so much power into the ground.
So much power.
And when we talked about just sort of athletes transcending event groups, I had to go back and look at the results from yesterday. Paulino would have been 5th in the short sprints group, so she's also showing, you know, some chops of being able to mix it up with the best of the best in this event.
Ran a really good bend, and even better over those last 50 meters to bring it home to win both the 400, now the 200, and the money. Men's 5,000 coming up. There's Grant Fisher. How hard will he have to work? Because we know he's good in the last 200. What's he going to do in the first 4,800 meters of that race?
Jamaica. It has beaches, it has mountains. It's lively, it's laid back. It roars, it tickles. It's sweet, it's hot, it's luxurious, it's adventurous. That's Jamaica. Come and see for yourself. is special. Every journey is unique. At Nulo, we know it's those who are along for the ride that make each journey incredible. With each low, with each high, our companions are steadfast. They support us, they inspire us, they encourage us to keep moving forward. For every champion's journey, alongside stands a banner, fueled by Nulo. Fuel incredible.
Grand Slam Track Miami Day 3, getting ready for the men's long distance 5,000. And Chris Chavez, it seems to me it's Grant Fisher and how 7 guys are going to handle Grant Fisher.
That's right. And after Kingston, you know, he caught a little flack for kind of taking himself out of that second race and having to just finish third. And he did just that to come away with the title. But today he's actually got a race. And the other guys, the big question for them is how do you stop him?
And, well, there you could look at Grant Fisher, who swept both races in Jamaica. Tried to sprint to this one, didn't quite get there. A little different makeup in the field here when he comes through.
You've got guys with personal bests under 350 for the mile, and so that was super valuable in the 3,000 meters where they were able to push it all the way to the finish line.
Yeah. Cooper Teare, by the way, has been in the shakeup in both races in Jamaica, and he was on Friday as well. It's the men's long distance 5,000. Here's Steve Cram.
You guys are funny.
But I do think there's a couple athletes that are excited about, and here we go. We can't even, in the first 10 steps, we see it. But I do think there's a couple athletes that might not mess around. You know, Grant Fisher said he's got to be ready for everything. And right now, I mean, really, this is the man to beat. He's about 10 seconds faster than every single one of these athletes on paper, if you look at his PB. And he ran so phenomenally indoors this year, setting a world record and just coming back to back, running every single race he ran, whether it was 1,500 meters, 5K, 3K, all of the races that he ran. He's so sharp. He's very confident, but if you know him, he's a quiet guy. He's a class act of a guy. But man, does he love to race. And he is not going to have to put himself in a position to really lead in these moments right now. So he's learning, as he said. I've said it a number of times over here at the Grand Slam. But he's learning how to race every single different way. And one of these days, we're going to see him learn how to really race a fast, hard run from the gun.
He's got a smile on his face.
That's his calm look. But, you know, Cooper Teare in second position there. He is a 12:54 guy. And it was not that long ago. It was in LA last year. He is a threat, but also Siri, he ran really well in the BAA 5K, and that's kind of the last stat that we have for him, but he's a phenomenal racer. And if you saw him race on the streets of Boston just a couple weeks ago, he sat, he played it out perfectly, and he really unleashed a killer kick. So, you know, he too has some weapons if he needs to use them today, but I'm sort of ready for these guys to kind of get into their stride and really show us that training that they use and the race savviness that they have.
Well, Dawit Sear from Eritrea is leading, but he's not doing anything.
Yeah.
He's just at the front, as we say. They're still lapping at kind of almost 3-minute pace, almost 15-minute pace overall, when you consider that the women run 14:25.
Right.
Yeah. So, as expected, it's slow, and he's decided, I don't even want to be in the front, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, George Mills, you know him better than anybody. I mean, he is such a great athlete. He's got this, you know, his great family history of being great athletes as well, but he is someone that ran so awesome at the, and there I said it, that's my favorite word this weekend, awesome.
Good.
But he ran so well at the European Championships right behind Jakob Ingebrigtsen, like you talked about. And then he ended up getting sick for the World Indoors. And that was unfortunate because he would have run against Andrew Koskinen there, who ran a great race. He was sixth there. So I think that Andrew Koskinen and George Mills, they come in pretty sharp here, even though Mills had a little bit of illness.
And that was the conundrum for me. You know, Koskinen in the races indoors, the championship ones he was in, you mentioned the Worlds, Europeans, didn't have the kick when it got going, and yet what we saw was incredible in the 3,000 meters. Anyway, you mentioned George. George started out really as an 800-meter runner, moved to the 15, strength and depth in Great Britain with Jay Whiteman and Josh Kerr, consecutive world champions, hard to get in the British team, moved up, and he's so strong. You know, he prepares in South Africa, does a lot of his training there, and somehow he needs to find a way to move to beat Fisher.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know. How do you run away from it?
I think, me personally think the way to beat Fisher right now, you have to have a solid pace, and you have to almost play with the strategy of going, surging and backing off, surging and backing off. That's how I would love to see that race. We haven't seen that lately. He's been in control, or he's had a Cole Hawker to be able to lead the race and just sit on him indoors. We saw that. That was his tightest race that we really seen besides a sit and kick at the Grand Slams.
Well, Coubertier's having his turn at the front, but again, not doing anything, and the guys are just clicking the laps away here. You know, George is just moving up a little bit more. I think. Is there, and of course that's not going to happen. That's how the points would have played out. We'll throw it in again a little bit later on perhaps, but George Mills just moving this along a little bit more at the front. You can see that the gap's just suddenly starting to appear. It's not too much pressure for the guys at this stage, but suddenly we went from a 73 to a 67. That's more normal. Still not quick 5,000 meter pace, but at least it brings them back into a more comfortable running.
It's been fun to watch George Mills run a little bit. I mean, at the Paris Olympic Games, wasn't he part of that fall in the semifinals of the 5,000? And then he came back. He also ran the 1,500. I mean, he likes to race. He puts himself in there time and time again. And so it's fun to see him here doing this double over a weekend.
Yeah, as I said, he'll have a go at George, and that's what he's doing here. Nothing too hard yet. He knows that. He's just... He needs something to work off, so all he's doing here is giving himself a little bit more of a platform, and at some point he's going to make this much harder. 73s is jogging, 67s, now is 65, just gradually picking it up here, just gradually getting into the race, gradually saying to the guys, okay, you know, we're not going to jump from a 73 to a 59 lap somewhere in here, so, and then at the end maybe even a 52, 53.
Yeah. Well, of course, you know Sam Aiken as well, being the Brit that he is. You know, he has a new coach, new training facility, into new training location. He said he was ready to go here. He came off of running a 10K on the roads, but he too has that sub 13-minute 5K. But there's some of these athletes in this race that don't have sub 13. I mean, our silver medalist from the Olympic Games is a 13:02 guy.
Yeah, that's the joy, isn't it, of distance running. When you get to the games, you know, we've seen great 1,500 meter races won. Centro was the last one to win the real big tactical one, wasn't it? But same in the 5,000. You don't have to be necessarily the fastest in the world, which Ingebrigtsen isn't always, but he wins because he's got great 1,500 meter pace. Anyway, the two Brits in the lead at the moment. 64s just creeping up. Sam Atkin in the front. Then George Mills. They're trying to work out how to finish ahead of Grant Fisher and indeed Andrew Coscoran. Don't forget, he was the one with the 12 points. If he, each lap that goes by, I remember the list, or didn't remember, I read that he said afterwards, he said in our interview, I was just clicking off the laps. He said, I knew I had it won 4 meters out.
Oh, 4 meters, I know.
Yeah.
I saw him smile with 3 meters to go. But you know, this is the hard way to run this race, even though they haven't been running super hard the entire way, but each lap getting a little bit faster. Every single time you're turning the screw. I mean, I don't like to race like this. I don't think a lot of people do. They like to bank time a lot of times, or at least be a little more steady.
Well, just to remind you, Coscoran had the 12, Fisher had the 8, George Mills had the 6 points from the earlier race, the 3,000 meters in the weekend. Fisher, as ever, looking nice and comfortable. There he is, just in 4th place, just watching.
Yeah. And now they slowed. Yeah. Now they slowed again. So they took that lap in 66. I mean, they are just priming the legs, getting ready. And you know, there's a number of athletes that are so good over 1,500 and mile in this crowd right here. But the entire group, isn't it, Steve?
You know, this is like watching in the distance. The dark clouds are gathering. The storm is on its way.
It's a brewing.
It's a brewing. And this is about patience as well. You know, if you've got a plan and you know what you want to do, you've got to pick the right time, make the move at the right time. I remember Sam went pretty hard, didn't he? And I think lost his own patience in the 3,000, put paid to his position, finished in 8th place in that one. That lap, 66. These guys, this is easy. This is easy running for them. No one's feeling tired at this point. The only thing, had they had a hard 3K, you can factor that, but the 3K itself was just a burn-up. Heading the same way here. Somebody here, have a go.
Well, Coscoran is back in the pack like he was for that 3K, and it wasn't until the later stages where he really moved around. He's right there. I'm not sure. He hasn't run an outdoor 5,000 meters in 5 years. The man that won the 3,000 meters just 2 days. But look at him. He's kind of getting antsy, kind of wondering if he can hang on. He's got to cover these moves. He knows he has the wheels, but look who's out in front. It's Grant Fisher. That's what we're used to. We're used to him drawing out that long kick of his. Usually it's with a mile to go on a hotter pace. But he went to the lead. Is that a mistake? I don't know.
This is smart. This is actually the dynamic from the result of the previous race, because you were right there. He's done his homework. He knows that for Coscoran, a harder run from home is not going to suit him. Mills will love this though. George Mills is going to like this because someone's doing the work that he thought he was going to have to do. Now though, you've got to hang on to Grant because he's putting the pressure on here. That is a move that perhaps they weren't expecting. Were we expecting it? Not sure, but he's away.
Well, this is the old Grant Fisher that we know. He usually does this, but this is what he said early on before the Grand Slams even started. He needed to learn how to be patient and sit and kick. He needed to be able to finish strong with all of the athletes all over the world, not just the ones that are here. But look at the distance he's put on, Steve.
58.6 for that previous lap. And if you can throw that in the middle of the race, middle of the 5,000 meters, you're going to do some damage, and that's exactly what he's done. Grant Fisher looking serene, the man who's got world records to his name now. He's got Olympic medals to his name. He is one of the best in the world and is showing it here. He's not hanging around, he's not waiting for anybody, he's not letting it go to a kick, which by the way he's very good at. This time though, he's showing what he's got, what he can do, and the rest of the group have given up the chase and have all just gathered together. They're racing for the peanuts afterwards. This is where the Slam champion is going, unless of course Coscoran could finish second there. But the time, this is smart from Fisher because he knows it doesn't matter, because even if Coscoran gets the same points as him by finishing second in that group, he's way ahead on time.
He has to do that. He is such a smart athlete, smart person, Grant Fisher. But watching him, I mean, he is so strong. We've seen the endurance that he has. His whole entire family are great athletes. I think they all went Division I and played something. But he loves his sport. He loves the game. He loves the competition. And look at him, this is the Grant Fisher we know. Look how smooth he is. He's a perfect, efficient runner.
He just ran 1:58 for that 800 meter section there. That is swift, that is good. That's going to hurt anybody. It's going to hurt even the best 5,000 meter runners. And here he's showing why he is considered the best around at the moment. The USA have got a real champion here in Grant Fisher. And when he comes down this time, he's going to hear the bell. And he now has almost 50-meter lead. The others had settled. They'll charge him on the last lap, but they've got no chance of getting anywhere near.
Well, it took Grant Fisher a long time to break the 4-minute mile, and then he did. And now he's doing it at the end of 5,000 meter races, at the end of 10,000 meter races. This man knows how to wind it up.
And if he's got something in his legs, he will run sub 4 minutes for the last 4 laps. Behind him, there's a good battle going on for second place, and that's going to be something that'll decide the minor places. Don't forget, if Coscoran can't come second, he'll have the same points as Fisher, but time-wise, he's nowhere near. There's Coscoran in the yellow, the Irishman on the shoulder, the Olympic silver medalist. George Mills looks a little bit spent at the back of that group now, so he's not going to get amongst the big money. At the front, it's all about Fisher, but Coscoran will be hoping he can at least get second here. He's got no chance of winning the slam, even if he does come second. One last look round for Fisher. Now he can wave to the crowd, enjoying these last 50 meters. This has been a display. This has been absolutely emphatic. The slam winner, Grant Fisher, strapped for second place. It's going to be Coubertin who just gets second, I think ahead of Coscoran, and then the others come streaming in. We'll sort out the photo finish afterwards. But you could have used a camera from the 1900s for the photo finish at the beginning, because there was only him in it.
Yeah, exactly. 3:57 for that last mile for Grant Fisher. Wow.
Incredible. Strength, speed, smart, knew what he was doing, worked it all out. Yeah.
Just a little sass too, because he had a little sass in that last 100 meters. A little bit of fun. He's showing off a little bit, as he should. Two-time slam champ. Awesome.
Well done to Andrew Coscoran. Will mean he'll finish second anyway with that third place, just the way things panned out with the other places. Thier will move into third overall in the slam. Didn't win the 3,000, just got pipped by the Irishman, but came back and showed why he is top of the tree at the moment.
You know what I find so interesting is we know Fisher wasn't pleased with that second place in the 3,000. I mean, we even heard Gabby Thomas say, not happy about getting beat. You never are. So you go home for these distance guys, you go home and you got to sit on that a little bit, marinate in the